Few people have more say in that building that don't wear suits than Davante Adams. Maxx Crosby might be number one. Davante, he's a little bit more senior, might also be number one.
Maxx Crosby got a head coach hired, so
right. Well, Davante said the same things too.
He echoed what Maxx said.
He didn't make a threat, but he they both wanted.
He co-signed. I think Maxx was the primary signer on that.
Wherever it is, 1A, 1B, what Davante Adams says and wants in that building is listened to.
Yeah, huge weight.
He posted on his Instagram story a shot of Jayden Daniels. My resume speaks for itself. Jayden Daniels, Davante Adams posted that.
Yep.
We know how cryptic, like Davante's a little older than most NFL players, not the cryptic, I want the attention, I want to stir things up. He's a meat and potatoes, straightforward guy. He says what he means, doesn't want to play the games. He's one of those guys, right? Thank God. Thank God an amazing wide receiver. We just saw Stephon Diggs get traded for being a diva, right? Like, thank God Davante Adams just like, I'm just here to work and win. Like, let's just get this shit figured out. Stop playing games. For him to come out and openly advocate for not only one of the quarterbacks in the draft, not only for one of the quarterbacks in the draft the Raiders have to move heaven and earth to get, but not one of the two quarterbacks that are currently on the roster with Davante Adams and the Raiders. That speaks volumes, especially coming from Davante. They don't have history. He's not a Fresno State guy. Dude, LSU and Arizona. Like, it speaks volumes that Davante posted that about Jayden Daniels.
It's identifying who this player is. And even though you do expect a jump between year one and year two for Aidan O'Connell, right? There's still a ceiling that somebody has. There's still things that you've seen as Davante Adams. You've seen what it looks like. Even with Jordan Love, you've seen what it looks like. It's like, okay, well, does he have it? And if he doesn't, or if it's going to take some Herculean, jump in skill set, yeah. I want someone else who has the skills. Intangibles are great, but give me some tangibles too.
If you're Gardner Minshew or Aidan O'Connell, how are you feeling about this? That he's advocating for a guy that's, again, not on the team, not within striking distance of your number 13. It's like I want you guys to move heaven and earth to not have Aidan O'Connell throw me passes in 2024.
Dude, Aidan O'Connell and Gardner Minshew, they know what the deal is. They know what the score is, okay? And they also know, just like you said, that it's not a sure thing just because you pick a quarterback high that they're going to end up being any good.
Yeah.
So just stick your head down, do the work, get as good as you can, because that's all you can do. All you can do is be as good as you can be as a player. And if the guy is just better than you, well, then guess what? You're going to be holding the clipboard.
It's interesting, too, that he posted it because, obviously there's going to be conversations between Tom Telesco and AP with Davante. I'm sure Davante doesn't feel that he has to be asked to give his opinion, and I'm sure AP and Telesco would welcome his opinion on things.
I'm sure.
It's interesting that he posted that to me. Like, he could easily just knock on Telesco's door and be like, "Hey guys, I am advocating for Jayden Daniels. Like, that's who I want. Look, I know how this business works. I know we're at 13. I know it's a big sacrifice. I just want you to say, like, if whatever my vote counts for, if you're on the fence, that's where I'm going with it." Right?
Yeah.
That's kind of how I imagine the closed door conversation went with Davante Adams and Telesco and AP. For him to post it and make it a thing, because he knows it's going to make waves. He knows all the Raiders creators and journalists are going to be talking about it. He knows it's going to make waves. I wonder why. Because he's not I want the attention guy. He doesn't want to stir things up.
It's just very truthful. He's very straightforward, man. This is how he feels. Mm-hmm. I've seen this kid. I've heard a lot of him. Probably, AP probably talks about him a lot. He knows him. He knows him more than he knows than he knows him more than I think any NFL head coach knows these players coming out. AP knows him more than any of the other coaches know these players coming out. Maybe Harbaugh and McCarthy, but Harbaugh's not picking a quarterback.
Yeah.
But you look at it from that perspective, and yeah, he probably heard a lot of good things. watch this tape and you see things here and there, like, yeah, man, this is the guy. Like, I see a lot of good things in him. I see a lot of traits that I saw in Aaron Rodgers in this guy.
I think there's one of two reasons why Davante Adams posted that. One of them, it's the misinformation lying game. The Raiders aren't going for Jayden Daniels, but they want everyone to think that the Raiders are trading up. What are we going to do after they trade up? Oh, we better trade up. We better trade up to number 2 or number 4, or because the Raiders are going to take them, right? Like either that, which is very possible, and it's chestnut checkers if that's what they're doing. I would love it if that's what the Raiders are doing. If Tom Telesco and AP are like, all right, Max, I want you to tweet about this defensive end out of Michigan and how awesome he is, and hey, Davante, I want you to act like we want this guy because we're going another direction or whatever, right? Or, and Mike Mayock discussed this with John Middlecoff in during their interview. Middlecoff asked Mayock, it's like, hey, is it weird with you when, like, when Marcus Mariota came to the Raiders, how you had him on your draft board at like number 2? Like, you can go to these players and be like, I like you, I want you, and I knew it from the beginning because look, I was on TV saying that 7 years ago, right? Like, he's got receipts. Like, I've got receipts saying you were my guy. I wonder if Davante Adams is doing that with Jayden Daniels. It's like, even before the draft, even when we had, let's be honest, a very, very long shot of getting up to a position where we can draft you, Jayden Daniels, I was on the record that you were my guy. I had 2 quarterbacks on our roster that I like, that I fully respect. Aiden O'Connell's great. Gardner Minshew, he's a Raider. Glad they're here. They're my teammates. But even with them on the roster, even with multiple quarterbacks in this draft available, I advocated for you, Jayden Daniels, 4 weeks before the draft. Talk about confidence building for a dude coming into a room. If we draft Jayden Daniels and he walks into Vegas, that Friday after we draft him on Thursday, Davante gives him a bro hug. Says like, I told you, bro. 4 weeks ago, I said, you're the guy. And here you are. Let's get to fucking work. Here's the playbook. There's some cleats. Let's throw some passes.
Yeah, I mean, if Jayden Daniels wasn't already like going to be yes sir enough to Davante Adams, you put that in the mix and listen, man, I got my name on you. Okay,
that's how you alpha somebody in a loving way.
Yeah,
it's like, all right, I just made you my little brother with the best intentions.
Yeah, I got my name on you, so we got to get to work.
Yeah. Don't fail because you're going to make both of us look stupid.
Yeah.